And I knew this coming into coming on the road, we had to play our best, and we were coming into a situation where we were going to get their best. You look at Kentucky, you have to give them a lot of credit. The first half, it was a tale of two defenses. Their defense played well, our defense played well. We were able to mount a drive there right before half to get it to 10-3, and then the second half made some halftime adjustments with our offensive coaches. Then the second half, we were able to take the ball for 3 straight drives and go score. But overall, very pleased. Could have played better, but you get a victory like this. You're on the road. You're very happy. It's a rival game.
What were some of the things they were doing to you to make it more difficult for you to score than might have been in the past?
Well, in the first half, it's just anytime you haven't seen a defense before and they change it up, they did a great job of changing it up and mixing it up.
Charlie, defensively, just talk about the effort they gave you today.
Well, our defense early in the game, and you talk about all 3 phases of the game. Our offense wasn't playing well, and just defensively we were able to go out and get some stops. I think they were 0 for 13 on third down, but they were able to convert 3 fourth downs with the quarterback, using his legs. But just our defense, they were able to pressure. We were able to just go stop the run. We wanted to make them one-dimensional. They hit a big run there in the second half down the boundary there, but just very pleased with how we played on defense.
Your front guys?
Just up front, we just rotate a lot, and we try to keep a lot of pressure on them, keep our guys fresh, and you just like the way up front did a good job of playing.
Charlie, how much did things open up for you guys offensively when you were able to start running the ball, especially that series when Dominique was taking the load?
Oh, and it does. You want balance, and anytime you can get balance with your run and pass game, it is so critical. And we were able to go run the football. You look at Dominique, who made some big runs, and then Sonoris was able to break the longer down the boundary. And then even with Dyer, he made some big runs. But our offensive line, it was just we grinded it out. With the first half, we weren't staying locked up on the blockers, but it's a combination of the linemen and the running backs. Also, the running backs got to make it. Sometimes you have to run through a defender. Sometimes he may not get blocked, but just run through him. But it was good to see that happen.
Was it adjustments or was it execution, the difference in the second half running the game?
A combination of both, because you have to, in order to execute, you have to make the adjustments, and we were able to make the adjustment, and then we're able to execute.
So you guys are kind of known as nationally as like a really powerful offensive team. What do you would you as a defensive guy like to kind of also be known as a defense is up there too?
Well, what happens when you have a Heisman quarterback, you're going to get the notoriety there on offense. But it's just defensively, we have some players on defense. This team, it's a combination. When you look at us on offense, you have an outstanding quarterback, you have some receivers, running back, and then on defense, you have some players. So I don't know what we're known as, but I just like to just be known as a team that just plays together in all 3 phases.
Charlie, how big is winning 3 in a row against your rival?
Well, it's big, but now that you look at this game, and it's a big game because it's a rival game, and there's so much just put into it. That's why I told our players, all games are big games, but this game is a little different, and that's why we had to go out and go compare the way we did, and just make sure that we had the focus and we had the confidence to believe that we could walk in here and beat them.
Charlie, how big was the momentum swing when you talk about going down, you score to go up 10-3, and then when Preston recovers that fumble just at the end of the first half, knowing you have the ball to start the second? That kind of was the swing of the game, wasn't it?
It was, because you look at it, they were driving the football, and they actually had it down in field goal range, and they could have walked out there with 3 points, and then you never know what could happen there to start the second half. But just to get that stop, knowing we were going to get the ball the second half.
Did that give you a boost going into the locker room? Did you feel that?
Well, you can feel it because we know how it is with so much emotion. Anytime you're in a rival game, it's just the up and down, and just to get that stop was big. And then we kept points off the board. Whether it's 3 or 7, we were able to keep the points off the board.
What do you feel like you learned about maybe this particular team after this game?
Well, it's just anytime you're on the road and you're going to go win a big road game, which is a rival game, you see the resiliency of the team. And you see a team that we weren't playing together, but they realize that we're a football team now. Okay, one phase isn't playing together, let's pick up the other phase. And we came together. You just saw it within this team. And no one ever got down on the sideline. It was just like they stayed together. They kept encouraging one another. Hey, offensively, we're going to get it going sooner or later. Let's just keep playing defense. Let's keep playing special teams.
Defense came up with some big turnovers today. How big were those turnovers?
Turnover is always critical because they can change the game. And we missed one there at the end, you know, the one where Malden strips him, and then Keith Brown, who played a lot today, goes in and try to pick it up and go score. But just the turnover, it just changes the game. And it's good to see us get our hands on the ball and us strip balls. And you see Gaines make the big interception when they threw it down the boundary to our sideline. But turnovers are always critical.
What did you say to your team at halftime? You're up 10-3, you got the ball.
Well, I was kind of pissed at half because I just knew we weren't playing our best football. So I had some really good words for them. But I just said to them, when you got the team together, because we come together and we start playing and we play as a team, you know, win this football game. Now, we hadn't played our best with our offense in the first half, but defensively we have. So now defensively we can't go out and take a step back. We got to, our offense will pick it up. I knew eventually we would pick it up on offense because we had just too many good players, of course, not to. We have an outstanding quarterback. But just defensively, let's make sure we keep playing.
After losing to UK 4 years in a row, how big is it to have taken these past 3 games?
After, I wasn't a part of those 4, so I don't know. It's always been, just to go with 3 in a row is really big. It's great. No, it's great for the program, and you see players that we recruited on that side of the ball. They recruited on our side of the ball, but it's been.
Are you satisfied with the rushing game? I mean, it seemed like towards the end, it finally settled in and got it going. Are you happy with it?
Well, I think we ended up with over 200 yards rushing, even with Teddy scrambling down there. But you know, the first half you weren't happy with it, but just to see us just get then the second half, watch us go man up and go get blockers on their defenders, then you got happy. Just to watch Sonoris go break a Bedford. But we were going to keep running the football, you know, and we did. We kept running, even at the start of the game when it wasn't there. Then you watch when Dominique made those big runs there, and we went down and scored a touchdown. We just kept running the ball, and the offensive line wanted that. They just knew eventually we were going to get on defenders, which we did, and open up the seams and let our backs run.
So it was something they embraced as a team, running the ball as much as you guys seem to.
I'm gonna run the football, man. I say that all the time. We have to be able to run the ball, and it just, to me, it shows toughness, and it shows how tough your team is. When you can run the football, you have a tough football team, and we're gonna run the football.
All right, Coach, good?
That's good.